Voice chat knows. What stock is that again? Welcome to Read the Room with Unk. What is up, everybody? This is Unk coming at you with this week's Read the Room. Voice a little gone. I'm just getting back from a game, but let's just hop right into the chart. You know how we do it. Let's get the hot list going, alphabetical order. Um, Little bit, we'll say from the rip here, a little bit of a mix of repeats, continuations, and MVP plays. Couple of the ER follow throughs. Still on that path of playing the aftermath of these ERs. So with the first one here is affirmed, which is coming out of the ER dip um, from Thursday. Just looking to see what it does around 25. Kind of pulled back even to 21, I think, I believe, on Friday. So just looking at the range that this creates, whether it's in the call or put side, it should just be active this week. More of an option style play. Um, if we can get it down, real cheap again, it'd be good on the shares. But I'm kind of looking for the 25 to confirm. Um, 20 or 25 to confirm before I start playing the share side. AI, another play, the professor and I have actually been on for a while. Just hasn't really brought up an opportunity. But looking coming into the ER and the pickup in the flow, especially with the 20 to 25 range in July. Current channel 1650 to 20 is what I have on my chart. So looking to maybe add in that channel and see if the leaps come to fruition. Still would like to get close to 1650 here on the share side. Um, and then be mindful that we do have ER approaching. AMC. It's actually one of the first charts I ever did when I got into, I guess, calling plays or having my own page, color coordinated back in the day. I like the 1155 level tremendously, especially just playing it back to 17. 17's volume profile on the big picture. This looks to get going. We just cleared ER. Um, a lot to like here, especially shares and options are both playable at this amount. I don't really like playing it when it was at 25 or 30. Um, you can get a better position, in my opinion, down here, even if you only buy, 10, 15, 100 shares, something in there. AMRS, Professor, shout out to him. He covered this Friday in his morning briefings. Everyone really should be watching those. But great play. I don't care if it was options or share side. We had really tight pre-market high and low off of the high of the previous day. Previous day of that kind of lined up all right there. So when we got the break, the continuation was nice to see. This still has range in his opinion from the flow side. Um, the thing that stands out this, and we will continue to say it, is the long-term leaps. They're pretty outrageous numbers. If you look at the flow, um, especially from this position. Only line I have is on the chart is 461. It's basically the volume profile, 450 range, somewhere right around in there. Bros, kind of had ER later in the week, but it's another one of the same setups. We're just playing the ER aftermath. Pretty big gap on this one, 28 to 33, I believe it is. Um, I would definitely watch this going into next week. The news was not bad, especially with their expansion. Fits the theme here, Beyond Meat. Professor's favorite stock that I love to hate. The flow is still decent on this. I think he's playing it daily just because of the range. Looking at the candles, I can see that. Share side, there is definitely some opportunity here, especially in an uptrend if this thing continues. But it has been a successful play if you're already on it, so we're going to keep it on the hot list. Can fits a lot of things, a lot of things. ER coming up, Chinese ADR runs with Bitcoin, just a lot going on with them. Hit my screeners a lot, bounced it off the professor. He kind of said and seen the same things. So we're gonna add this one to the hot list here. Really do kind of like the $3 level here with range back to 5. Um, it's kind of got a frying pan going into earnings, so be mindful of that. But this should be active going. Excuse me, this should be active after the earnings, 100%. And it also fits the Chinese ADR Fridays that we call, and it also runs with Bitcoin. So there's cross catalyst here like crazy. CDE, strong flow reads are going to keep this on here. It still has it back to the area of the chart we have, which is right around the 450 range. Got around earnings, kind of dipped with the market. Miners in general are a theme sector in here. Not necessarily that we're early, but they will pick up traction as they keep reporting better numbers. Talked a little bit about CNN being something you can play daily waiting for a bigger move. The leaps up here are pretty substantial to $5. Not that that's a price target, but that's just where they are. But the candles here on the daily give you, a 7 to 15, sometimes 20% range. So you can play in the meantime. Um, just a really good setup and chart with breakout potential in the near future. This is I don't remember Professor's exact words on this play, but he said something that definitely stood out on this play as being the potential big winner um, that he's found. Like he's looking for this to be a long term winner. On the flow side, I did write that down. June 13, 14, and then leaps to 2022, and then also puts 12 and 13 on the monthlies right now. So kind of had a couple established ranges here with the 12 to 16, which that's enough to trade with the potential of an upside move. This is definitely something I'd keep my eye on. It seems like it's also very, very good from the option side. I like the share setup. He compared this to AA, I believe, and how their chart moves. So if you've played that or seen that, be mindful they're the same sector. CGC, Canopy Growth Company, kind of had a little spike on merger news. I believe it was merger news. But these are beat down. We have a few of them in here. Put the ones with kind of the most to offer. This having range back to 7, and then maybe some continuation if we get good news. Also, all of them are in the flow reads with leaps. Not a crazy, crazy amount, but they are very active in the screeners and scans that P runs. And then on my end, the same way, the share side, I get these in the scans once a week. So we just want to keep our eye on them before the move happens. Tilray would be the one that's not on the list that kind of gets the main attention, which moves a little faster, which is why we have the few we have on our list, because they'll get a little bit slower moves, and sometimes those moves are also more substantial. Clove, pure continuation around ER, also a little bit of the social play. Flow, I believe, was to 350. But yeah, this is just a continuation of what we already had on it. If you've been playing it, yeah, stick to your plan here. Lines on the chart are basically 220, 260. And again, the flow reads are a little higher than that. Clever. Think Canopy, growth company, everything I said there. This thing's just holding the dollar well. Um, Plenty of range back to where we were basing off of the first breakout, which we had this under a dollar the first time. Um, Now kind of looking for the dollar to hold. Plenty of range back to where we first found support. Again, strong flow sector kind of seems to stay in the active feeds. So we're just trying to keep an eye on them because all the charts are at decent levels that we played at before. DI has the merger news still. Staying with it. The vote to vote is coming up soon. I believe it's still next month. So we have a little bit longer, but that'll be the first catalyst to watch. We'll definitely have a reminder the day that they vote to vote. And the outcome of that will determine how to play it. I probably wouldn't want to be in it when they vote. That would seem like a little bit too much of a gamble, but be ready to get into it once we find out the news or see the chart start to move. Again, this is a pure news catalyst. We're playing on them and they're currently talking about delisting. So it's not positive news, but if that goes away, it should push this chart substantially. Even back to the 250 range would be a good move from where we are. Sinclair, great call by the P. He actually added, took it off, and added this back to the hot list, probably at the perfect time. So shout out to him for that. He just sees continuation in the flow, so we're keeping it on there. This is one, if you've been successful with it, stick with it. If not, probably not a good time to learn. But again, a great call by P and something that will have continuation from here. Oil is hot. DNA got earnings coming into this Monday. I believe this might even be Monday. We definitely have earnings next week on DNA. And yep, 16th tomorrow after market. Kind of watching around that flow is still saying $3. That's our line on the chart is $3. Enough of a percentage to play back to that line in general. Lots of good things. Kathy Wood's favorite penny stock. Donut continuation of the aftermath of the ER kind of ran right back to this line. So want to see what it does here. This has really strong flow reads into the summer. The leaps are 18 and 20, so that's why this is staying on the list. Food service in general seems to be something that's going to be hot, and we do have a couple more on here. Hasn't really tested this channel in a while, so it'd be good to show strength Monday, Tuesday, get back in this channel to come test the 17 range. Callaway, another perfect example of what we were talking about with the ER flushes. Coming out of ER, this came right back up to 20. Flow read still suggests 25, 617, and then we have some leaps a little farther out to for 22, or excuse me, we have shorter term calls for 22.5, kind of confirming the bottom. So this looks to kind of get back into this channel. I have 27 on the chart. Golf should be hot in the summer. Frey, another continuation of the ER flush. 850 is the spot on the chart. Again, always said you had to do with these is just kind of read the ER and see if the chart matched the report. If it was decent or they actually beat and they got a flush, it would be safe to play. If it dropped 25% and the news was just average, probably still a good play. This is just continuation. Some of these didn't happen midweek. It takes a couple days for the play to actually pan out completely. And this one is obviously still going this next week. So 850 is a spot on the chart, $10. The flow has 8 and 9 Cs and then leaps to 11. So kind of a low key play here. Great chart with both the flow and the TA. Fro, kind of a slower play. I like this better as time goes on. Now that we're closer to the 740, the flow is still hot on the 10 in June and July. So that's we're sticking with it. I like this one more than I did last week. Fubu, it's so cheap now. It's just gonna have range. It's kind of the new OCGN for me. Yeah, with just a continuation of a good chart. That pays well more on the share side here than the option side. Jibo, kind of getting back into the channel a little bit. We have 350 for 5. I believe the strikes on this are only the weird $5 strikes. Oh no, I got June $4 calls. So June $4 calls. I like this channel in general. We also talked about this actually having future catalyst because they have a deal with Delta for gas, or excuse me, biojet fuel in the future. I think it starts 2024 through 2027 or something like that. So they have that coming. They can make announcements around that. Just really good for the PR, really good for the bottom line because they're going to have new sales. And then they'll be able to also maybe acquire other partnerships because they'll have distribution set up for what they have set up. So just a good company outlook overall, good product overall, and in a great place in the chart. And again, we've gotten through ER. So a lot to like here. It's kind of a small cap too, so it runs a little harder than most. GGPI, Still talked about the Polestar link. I actually talked about how I was down in this for a little bit because my ads were under what it's dropped. But the low tens, I don't think you're going to get cheaper than that. Just waiting for the news. You could also play it a little different than I did and actually sell when you get 20 to 30% spikes. Um, but this is one current SPAC that I like. I think they're personally just trying to time the market. Best time for them to come out to have their shares not go below the SPAC price because of market volatility. IMX, same play here. We did clear ER, we're kind of staying in the same channel. This is more of a long-term flow read that is the high end of our channel, which we're currently below, but the flow suggests 20 in the fall. So we're keeping this on the hot list, probably until that theory is met or the flow goes away. Um, do like it a lot better now that we are around ER. Preferred ad range for me would definitely be off 15. 15 to 20 is a great percent. JMIA, same thing here, coming into ER. Just one this week that we like. A little below the channel we have established, which is the $6.50 to $12 range. So this thing has quite a bit of range if we're right. I would be mindful of the 650 range. Need to confirm that for the upper move. And then obviously ER is an important factor as well. Should not have to tell you how to play them since we've covered it a good 4 or 5 times in this video. LAC, Professor has this has the same setup as it had previously, but it's just to the summer with the $35-$40 leaps on the big trend line that it broke when he had first seen that setup. So I'm curious how we come out of that. I like this from the share side, especially with the top end to 40. Just the previous winner, probably future Hall of Famer. Laser post ER continuation plus the LiDAR still kind of being a hot sector in both the flow and a lot of my scanners and screeners. Definitely just a continuation from last week. Lemonade, same thing, continuation off the ER. Got a really nice dip, which was good to see, and we have moved up back into the 20s. Potential move to volume profile 30 with the flow read is what the notes say. So kind of like that, how that setup matches up. Macy's, Hall of Famer, great spot. ER coming up. What's not to love? MGM didn't have a bad ER, and at the bottom of the channel, everything still suggests a move into the 40s is definitely possible, and it's a channel that we've played. This is over a year, so yeah, just a good setup all around still. Momo, another ADR, another one that the professor liked previously that he played. We played the channel 5 to 650, and it's kind of offering that again, and then offering the same kind of flow setup with calls to 7 again. So kind of just fits a lot of what we already do and previous winner. MViz, just there's a lot of LiDAR in the screeners and scanners and the flow reads. This is my particular favorite one. 325, 371 is the channel I have, and we're just pretty much right there on that. Doesn't really have a catalyst, so be mindful of that, especially around low volume. But it's just odd that LiDAR is in general hitting both the flow scans and the TA scans. Nat, such a great chart, such a great setup. Continues to be very good from the 335. I think we went a little. I think we went substantially lower than that. Like the 225 actually was a little better than the 35. But still back to the 260 flow reads. I think 350, 350 are what the flow reads are. So this still has tons of potential upside and predictable in a channel. Kind of on a downtrend, you can kind of see it here, but the range that it kicks back um, keeps it on the hot list. Nikola, this kind of popped up on Friday. Um, Another cleared ER. We didn't really play the ER part of it, but the flow reads still suggesting 8 next month, and the chart has that and then some. So kind of just maybe a little late on this, but still enough on the bone for us to get a little play. Good from both the share and the option side. OPAD, one of Professor's real estate plays, came out of ER right perfectly off the $4 level. 778 is my second line from the chart, and the flow reads do have the $7 to $8 in the summer. Play, old play, great Hall of Fame stock, right here at 40. Flow still suggests the upward move back to the 50, so I like the sub 40s with playing it back even to the 46 level on this chart. Piton, kind of a sleeping giant in my opinion. One of the few that me and the professor really do agree on that more of the long term, this will definitely rebound um, post the big cuts that most stocks have taken, whether it's because of the pandemic or just the market um, taking things into consideration a little different. Um, there's the assessment, I guess you would say. This one has the most range. It's kind of a continuation out of the ER as well. So I would be watching this one to see if we can get back to the 20 and what it does around there. What line we had on the chart? We have 23.3. So maybe 20 is the first test, but the real test was to see if we could establish 23.25 again. Rad kind of same thing, bumping around $6. Way off trend from the first news spike, that acquisition news. Just really cheap for what they were offered and where they were at. Obviously, the company values itself more than the stock price currently at. Do have ER coming up in about another month, so I think this will be looked back upon as the better time to acquire shares on this play. Roblox ER continuation. That was fun. Um, Chart has a lot to give. Needs a catalyst at this point in time. Even back to 40. I like that test. Just have to see where the chart goes, but this should be active, especially on the option side. Does have enough range to play shares as well. RDW, space play, kind of under the radar space play. Big dip out of ER, so it fits that narrative as well. All of them, pretty much all of them, we can see in collab messages were in scanners and screeners on Friday. REI and most of Crappy Energy are back on good level here. I like the $4 level. Not the best of the flow reads on these, but the charts do offer enough range, even here 4 to 5, that we've had before. Do kind of have this pattern of higher, low pullback, higher, low pullback. So would like to see that trend continue. And again, most of the poopy energies are in a good spot on the TA side. Rivian, another one of the through ER plays, continuation. I know I sound like a broken record on that, but they're profitable, so we're going to keep them in. I really want to see what this does around 30 this week. Root, this is Lemonade's little brother. Professor's trying to get a discount still. Like this because of the range it offers. Seems like we kind of found a really good base here, about 110. 160 is my line from the last RTL box, and you can see it's kind of had really good, let me zoom out for you, really good harmonics around that number for the duration. Getting back above this wouldn't surprise me at all, maybe even the $2 test. There's some more food. Red Robin. Professor likes these in the flow reads. Continuation. Had a little bit of a decline last week, but with the catalyst coming up, that being summer, the world opening back up, all that good stuff. The flow still suggests that this has a move back into the teens. These should become hotter, especially the later we get into the summer. SDC, talked about them getting cheap enough to like you just kind of are foolish to not play them. This is one of them coming out of the ER. Flow still suggests 2. RTL line is still 2. Like the play, especially if you know the chart. A little bit of both. Restaurant theme and just got out of ER. I believe the flow is a little under the RTL line, which would be 50. And but we did just come out of this ER, so kind of got around that, and that seems important right now. So looking to check back into this range, and then hopefully they walk this one up, so to speak. Shake Shack, it's again another food reopening play, fits all that stuff. All right, one of those weird ones that I actually called playing the ER run up, and Professor's calling it off a flow read to $3 right now. Definitely be mindful that this was a past pump, so there's a lot of bag holders in it. But the $3 range from here is not a far stretch, especially when you look at the chart. Stig, eventually this will probably be in the STNG, the Scorpion Tankers. This will probably be in the Hall of Famer eventually. Just a great find and call by the Professor. Offers just good range on the day from the option side. At this point in time, it's definitely more of an option play, but again, a gem. Tell kind of held volume profile really well, which is the $4 level. Has ranged back up to the 6,650. This is one that the Professor found previously in the year, and it performed really well and kind of got a little overextended. But after the cool off, you like to see these higher lows, and that's what we have here. So be mindful of Tell. Upstart, ER fodder. Yeah, this has got some range in both directions. Should be active on both sides, both shares as well as on the options. Workhorse, flow kicked in on this on Friday, I believe, and they had quite the move after the ER. Didn't really play the ER, but back to 3, which flow suggests we can easily get to 2, 3, and then I believe it had 5, and I only have 4 on the chart, but this has definitely been up in that range before. Wastewater Resources, WWR. Another one that has cleared ER, kind of got down on dollar psych and held, which entirely farther down than we thought. But playing it back now to the level that we were at first looking at, 160, is a 60% trade or 50% trade from here, however you want to slice it. And kind of talked about that over the weekend, Friday a little bit. Like these things that do have major falls, their rebounds have to be hundreds of percent to make that back. So this doesn't quite fit that narrative, but it does fit a substantial percent of 50 to 60% just to get back to the $1.60, $1.50 psych. I like the setup now, especially since it's cleared ER and it's super cheap, almost at an all-time low. Definitely a low for the most recent history. Zillow, just a chart in a good spot, and real estate should stay hot. Clear DR, we have a really good bottom establishing here right around 34.50, 35 you call it, whatever you want. And just look to make the trend back up. Believe the calls are only to 50 as opposed to the line that I have is a little bit higher, 52.64. But this has plenty of range, especially if we can get a good catalyst. All right, everybody, that's 30 there. No socials this week. You guys know the plans, you know the room. Check the notes. Make sure you update everything via the notes on the hot list and the hot stove, as well as the voice chat or this video, and then the professor's sector notes. You should be able to put those together and come up with a pretty good plan. So you know it. Let's have a plan. Let's manage our risk. Do I really got to say this? I'm not a financial advisor. Let's respect the lines, and most importantly, don't forget to read the room.